What's up guys, and welcome back to the channel. Today we have a rather longer video than usual, featuring 4 days of rail fanning on the CSX Wildwood Sub, aka the S Line. We start off here in Bushnell, Florida, one of my usual spots and one of my favorite S Line spots, where we're waiting on M441-17, who's currently at the south end of Bushnell siding. In the lead of M441 today would be CSXT 1827, CSX Baltimore and Ohio with B&O Heritage Unit. I heard this thing coming down with very little notice, and I was surprised I was able to make it in time for him, and I definitely made a really good chase out of it. We chased him down towards Dade City, but caught him a few times along the way, getting some pacing in as well. So, we'll cut to that first. After the head end of M441 passed me here at Bushnell, I'd hop in the truck and make my way south on US 301 towards Dade City. Between Bushnell and St. Catherine, I'd eventually catch up to M441's head end, with B&O in the lead. I wasn't able to fully pace him here since he was going a lot slower than the highway speed and gradually slowing down even more, so I decided just to keep pushing on and catch him at a crossing further south. Just north of St. Catherine on Sumter County Road 720, I set my tripod up and we get my second shot of M441 with B&O in the lead. After snagging some photos of him here at County Road 720, I'd hop back in the truck and keep heading southbound. South of County Road 720, I'd catch back up to M441 again and get some proper pacing in, which I love doing on this road, and I've done a lot more since this clip, which you'll see later. After doing some pacing at B&O here on US 301, I'd hit the gas and head south to Dade City at the defect detector, my usual spot for chasing trains down here, for my last shot of B&O.
Milepost 825.9er. No defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 544. Detector out. 14117, clear north on the date, 396, 1847 south.
With no defects and a good axle count, M441 would continue on its way south. I'd also start making my way southward towards downtown Dade City and the Cultural and Heritage Museum, one of my other favorite spots to set up in this area. Over the few hours I stayed at the museum, I actually saw a good amount of train action, so hope you guys enjoy that.
CSX M604 17876. Got a clear signal at South End Day City, northbound now. taxi out 4417, look up 6449, please stop that Bay City Hood.
After IO-44, I'd pack it up and head back home for the night. The next day, though, I'd be up bright and early hitting the road northbound towards a little place on the CSX S Line with my friend Drew, a little town called Hawthorne, Florida, for some more CSX action. And the day would actually be a lot more active than we thought. "5:41 a.m. I'm making my way up north on Florida's Turnpike. Destination? Hawthorne, Florida, to meet with my friend Drew, aka That One Railfan on YouTube, for some more CSX railfanning on the Florida S Line, something me and him have done a good amount of times before now. Eventually I'd pass over the S Line at Wildwood, where a green signal would catch me off guard.
Well, of course, when I passed the Wildwood exit, I looked down the S Line heading south and there's a high green. I'm gonna bet this is 457 who has that signal. Now the question is, do I want to get off the interstate, or soon to be I-75? I'm still on the turnpike, which becomes, or turns into I-75 overhead. Do I want to get off of State Road 44 and just hope? Because, I mean, my current arrival to Hawthorne is about 6:45. So, I still got about an hour left on the road, just a little bit under an hour. I mean, my plan was to get to Hawthorne a lot earlier, but I woke up a little later and got on the road a little bit later. With that high green, my scanner is on and I really haven't been hearing anything. So, in theory, I could make it down probably to the crew office and I guess to set up there and see what happens, because I'm trying to see as many trains as possible. So, yeah, there's the exit for Wildwood. Sucks that, you know, I could have just taken the US 301 exit and checked the signals there, but I didn't think, you know, 457 would be in this area, even though I should know. So I think just to try, we're gonna take this exit up here for, what am I doing? I don't even know what's even long. We're gonna take the exit for State Road 44 and see if we can catch whatever the southbound is. Well, we're now in Wildwood, pretty much downtown Wildwood. We're right next to the S Line on US 301, and I checked the signal again, and there is still a clear. I'm betting this is 4:57, because just judging on the time, I mean, it's almost 6 a.m. Or it pretty much is 6 a.m. And the only real southbound that goes through here consistently at this time is M457. Unless it's some, like, B train, I really have no clue, because I haven't been hearing anything on my scanner yet. So I'm going to set up at the CSX, the crew or yard office at Wildwood. Because I would set up at this crossing actually I'm passing right here, but there's no lights. And I mean, I could use my truck headlights, but wouldn't look as good. So we're just going to set up at the yard office, and hopefully this train doesn't take too long. I don't think it will, because 4:57 usually, I think, usually rolls through Bushnell between like 6 and 7. So, and we're a little bit north of there, so I'd say he should be rolling through here soon, but we'll see. We're here at the Wildwood yard office, a little after 6 a.m. There's that clear signal. And actually right here are the 2 Jeeps that they use for the Wildwood local. That one back there is next Conrail. Yeah, I'm probably going to sit in the truck though for a bit and wait until I hear something on my scanner. But Wildwood Yard is pretty full. A lot more full than it usually is, so now we wait.
Just after 7:30 a.m. Yeah, remember how I ended that last skip off around 6 a.m.? So yeah, I ended up waiting here a lot longer than I thought, and I eventually moved down to the County Road 44A crossing, because by the time 4:57 showed up, it was already sunrise, and yeah, that was a pretty long and cold hour and 30-minute wait, but it was kind of worth it, and it was cool having the high rail there in the foreground. I hope he didn't think I was recording him, but yeah, after almost an hour and a half of waiting for M457, he finally showed up here at Wildwood. After M457 passed me here at Wildwood, I'd eventually push on north towards Hawthorne, after being almost 2 hours behind schedule. About 40 minutes later, I'd passed just north of Citra, at the split of US 441 and 301. I'd make my way on US 301 towards Stark. Near Island Grove, you cross over the S Line and go from the west side to the east side of the tracks, which is where 301 remains up until Baldwin, where it crosses over again. Soon, I'd arrive at Hawthorne, and very shortly after, we'd already have our first train. Known by Drew as the Edgar Spur local, CSX L752 is actually coming off the spur, making its way towards the main line. L752 is a daily local turn from Baldwin Yard down to Edgar and back. L752 goes down the S Line here in Hawthorne, goes on the Edgar Spur heading eastbound, then turns around going back to Hawthorne, then going back up north to Baldwin. Today he only had one hopper and 2 Jeeps on the head end.
One more now.
After setting the mainline switch back to normal, L752, with his 2 Jeep 40-3s and 1 covered hopper, would make his way back towards Baldwin. He wouldn't be going very far though, as he'd be stopping in the Hawthorne siding a few miles ahead to wait on an incoming M453. It was cool seeing these 2 Jeep 40-3s paired together, especially the second one, number 6532, who I used to see all the time down in Lakeland. It was cool to see him again. Eventually, he'd stop in the Hawthorne siding, and M453 would enter the picture here at Hawthorne, with the ES44 and CM44 in the lead.
453 got a clear south in a Hawthorne look for 631 main track coming up. But get there. We're trying to...
11:20, or it is 11:20. Here are the McDonald's and Loves off of US 301. Just got something to eat. We have an M452 coming up on the Vitus sub, and he has a good amount of power today. Oh, as you can see me in the reflection. So, yeah, we're gonna head back to the tracks and see what we can see besides him. Hopefully something else.
We're being big as we speak.
As we speak, we're, yeah, perks
This
of having a
is
truck, I guess.
luxury living by the tracks, if you ask me.
It's
So.
the most active subdivision in Florida. Well, I mean, it technically is.
Yeah, most active. Yeah, sure.
I
pal.
mean, it has some of the most.
We've
some
seen
of the
2
most.
trains today.
Yeah, and one of them was a stupid freaking local that came from all the way down there. Freaking 2
L7
Jeeps.
and 52. I almost had L7 and 82.
782.
Recruit local. Yeah.
Goes crazy.
Bro,
We
if
got
only U7.
we have the McDonald's.
What am I saying? I'm not. What am I saying?
I don't know. Next, yeah, 452 has like big back power, so should see that.
Our next train here to Hawthorne actually wouldn't be M452. It would be B62114. Ethanol load from Bensenville, Illinois off the CPKC down to Tampa. Now, yes, this train does come from the CPKC, but today had UP power on the head end and the rear end. On the head end, it would be a UP ES44AH and a CSX AC44CW in YN2 paint.
It's recorded. Did his air just dump?
His air's gone.
Oh gosh, okay.
I rode to B train, over.
Yeah, this definitely caught me and Drew off guard here. As you know, one moment we were just watching the train, and the next moment, just a sudden loss of air, and the train comes to a grinding halt.
Yeah, right in front of us.
Eventually, we decided to go down to Loch Lusa to catch him at speed, and he would definitely be going track speed, which I think is around 60 miles an hour. After catching B621 here at Loch Lusa, we'd move back up to Hawthorne near the City Hall to catch a few more trains. First up would be a surprise L743 with a bit of a surprise in the middle of the train. At around 3 p.m., M452 would finally show up, being the last train me and Drew would see here in Hawthorne. He had a pretty interesting lash up with two modern GEs in the front and three Dash 8s and a Dash 9, all in modern CSX paint schemes, including YN3C, which was definitely cool to see. After M452, me and Drew would part ways as we both wanted to get home and I had work later that night. M452 is honestly a great day to end such a great day of railfanning here in Hawthorne, and while that was it for today, I'd be up bright and early the next day for a pretty surprise catch with barely any time to spare.
M45218 went in, 3150 clear for north end of Hawthorne, north Brady.
That's like one of those trains where.
March 19th, around 7 a.m., I'm back here in downtown Bushnell to catch M457, currently in between the north end and south end of Bushnell siding. On the head end of M457 today would be CSX 1850, CSX L and N, Louisville and Nashville, Heritage Unit. I got off work around 6 a.m. and tried to get here pretty quickly, and I did. And of course, when I got here, 457 was at the north end. So I had about 3 or so minutes between me getting here and him passing me. So I guess you could call that perfect timing. Was nice to see LN again, and this wouldn't be my last time I see him this month, as you'll see in a future video. Anyways, enjoy M457 with CSXT 1850 and its beautiful K5H horn.
Wow. I literally had like 3 minutes to spare. The moment I get here, he's already at the north end bush now. I got here at the right time, dude. Cool. Got the C1850 again, and this time I actually got to end him leading. Man, 3 back-to-back days with heritage units. 1853 yesterday, and 1827 the day before that. Wow. Okay, it's early, the moon's still out. It's like 7:30? Wow. Alrighty, well, I mean, I mainly came out for him, but at this point, I might stay for a little bit, see what I can see. But if there's nothing else, then that was a good catch.
March 20th. I'm once again here in Bushnell, this time on the inside of the curve, to catch an incoming grain train with BNSF, Norfolk Southern, and CSX on the head end. CSX G575 is coming down the S Line today, making its way towards Tampa, as the first grain train of the season, which usually starts around March and April. These trains run to Tampa about once a month, and I've been really wanting to catch them since you don't see them that often. I love the red-covered hoppers it carries, and it usually, like today, has BNSF on the head end, mixed with some NS and a CSX YN2 thrown in the mix. So first we'll catch him here and chase him south towards Dade City. I quickly hopped back in the truck and started chasing G575 south out of Bushnell. He was going a lot faster than I expected him to be going, but he was going about the speed limit, so that actually kind of worked out well for me. After recording him a little bit here just south of downtown, I set up at County Road 73A for another catch of G575. After catching a quick look at him here at County Road 738A, I hopped back in the truck and headed southbound. For some reason, there was a slow order or some kind of construction or working the tracks, so G575 had to slow down pretty significantly, which made it kind of hard to pace, but it did make it really easy to chase him down to the Dade City defect detector, where I'd catch him for the last time, and catch my last train for this 4-day marathon of railfanning on the CSX S Line. I guess you're here for the G train too, huh? Back at the Dade City defect. No, that's not the defect detector. That's the defect detector. I don't know where that G575 is. He was going really slow near St. Catherine. So who knows, but I'm recording on my phone as well, and I guess I'll have an audience. The lighting sucked at Bushnell, so it should be a lot better here. So I guess let's wait for him.
CSX detector, milepost 825.9er, no defects. Repeat, no defects. Total axles 474. Detector out.
No defects. CSX G575, 18, BNSF 5540, clear north end Dade City, southbound out.